light. There's so much happiness not having to prepare for anything and seeing how it'll all be given by Jesus as a symbol of it all being given by God, everything. Whatever lacks. I think I've talked about before how, like, one of the things, and this was helpful, it was really helpful. I can see it because you start to realize that even though we're in the play, there's a part of us that knows that stepping outside of our comfort zone is really the function to see past fear. And so I spent quite a number of years with Tony Robbins and then became a trainer for Tony Robbins. And it was, and many of us who come from different programs like that, Landmark, and different programs where you just really step out of your comfort zone of who you think you are. And I do remember, like, oh my gosh, he was going to do these digital delivery programs where he's going to do Unleash the Power Within. And they were looking for beings who would deliver the content in between the digital, they do a video of his program anyway. And oh my gosh, that was a stretch. And to look, so many ideas, but boy, the preparation, having to prepare and never feel prepared. Because as long as there's a play in consciousness that we have to be prepared, we can't relax and just be who we are. So it was helpful to stretch beyond the idea of, who I thought I was and all these ideas that we have about public speaking, and just see like the love and just letting Jesus' words be the only words. Letting Jesus' words. But just seeing that kind of mask actually underneath that of the terror of saying the wrong thing, that play in consciousness. What if I say the wrong thing? Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness any longer to be afraid of saying the wrong thing? That play that we could ever say something that would be wrong when we're really holy. Nothing's wrong that we could say ever. It's innocence. It's just that consciousness uses what we say to reinforce beliefs of personal identity. What we believe about ourselves is what expresses, see? What we believe about an other. You could just see it. It's so good watching movies when you really watch in movies and staying with Jesus and let him interpret and show you where we just kind of toss out our beliefs to live inside a story of a me. The story of not being infinite, the great rays. Yeah, I've really been looking with them at that, like seeing the energy of the no to infinite light, just pure light, like no and no and no and no. But seeing that when you look at the desire with him and that burns out, how much love there is. Every one of these desires that just arises out of being squished out, every no, every denial of denial. To shine the light, to stand with him and just let it come and just go, okay, I do really, really triple, really, and feel the triple, quadruple, really don't want it. I really want to play. I. See, the I wants to play, but there's no I. That's the Jesus and the light of divine being. Is there actually an I? Can an I be found somewhere in there? Is there like a little person running around inside of us? What is that? Question, what is that? Is that just an idea, Jesus? It's just an idea that there's a little somebody in there, like I'm a little somebody? Is that? And you can see him laugh. It's so great to laugh with all of you. Like, who could know the joy of the laughter? Who could know this? Not a personal identity can't know that laughter when you see it's impossible to deny light. That's all he's bringing us to. And then you can hear every single excuse why not to join. But as he's reminding me today and every day, for it's important to see, to step into it. And I see even then, like with the Tony Robbins or going into the prison, and we can all see these places. I remember even when I left graduate school, like I knew there was like a fear about driving. Like I was really afraid to drive places. Wasn't very confident driver. So I picked Houston. Seemingly, let's just, but it wasn't, it wasn't to prove anything, but somehow like we know there's something that needs to be seen. There's something that we're denying, even if it's not called A Course in Miracles yet. To step outside of those limitations. That we have these ideas that certain things in form are okay to do and certain other things in form are have the idea about dangers. I think that's really why Jesus sent me to India. There's so many law violations that would be violation, quote unquote, unsafe things. In Mexico too, they got all their kids rattling around in the back of the car like marbles. Or whatever, the back of the wagons. Even that, they'll have 5 or 6 people piled on a motorcycle, all the quote unquote violations of the world, the safety violations. We tried it. That's what the ego does. It tries to have little rules and then has fun, like making laws of the world, and then making laws that people would break laws, and then they can go into court and then they can be found guilty. See all the little figures that we make so that the Lego people all the little Lego people, and then they have to be punished because of our own belief that we need to be punished for nothing. And then we have little courtrooms and we have little CSI, one of the most popular program, CSI, the Who Done It. Isn't that fascinating? Like, who did it? And you just watch that play in consciousness. Like, I could see it. Like, as soon as something happens or doesn't happen, the shark comes out and then it's looking for, now, why did they move my toothbrush or, whatever it is, or squeeze the toothpaste? How many arguments have there been, do you think, in consciousness and the play of consciousness over whether someone squeeze the toothpaste or let the toilet seat up. I mean, sometimes those can be helpful. Maybe we'll have that. Everyone puts toilet seat down just to see, or everyone leaves it up. I don't know what Jesus will decide that's most helpful, but sometimes it's helpful to see. That's all we're looking at, is what little rule in consciousness did we choose to set us off to say no to divinity? What little rule violation out there? It makes the rules and then makes how upset we're going to be when the rules are violated. So we put the nose ring in our, our nose. You know, they have those on cows. They can pull the cow. But what happens is we put our own nose ring in and then just have the ego pull us around by it. That's Jesus. That's a good image. Am I having my nose ring pulled by myself? We make up all the characters, all the roles. We doing that, Jesus? Yes, we are. Not we, the play of consciousness. We're sneaking outside the courtroom again, God's court, holy, happy courtroom, the light room, where we're like basking infinite. I don't, you know, this is kind of like boring. I got to go down the hall and find something to do and sneak out. And then, oh, we're guilty because, oh, we left the courtroom. Mm-mm. And Jesus is just laughing. That's what Muji would say, too. Well, he would say, sometimes the things you guys would say, I had to go in my bathroom and laugh. Really. Not happy, but we don't, you know, when we're so unaware of the play, how the play is. But now we can laugh together because everyone's in on this joke. Is there anyone, let's just ask, anyone in the play of consciousness that at the deepest level does not know their light? Ask the light that. No. We all know we're light. Jesus, do we all know that we're light? Does everyone know it? Is it possible for anyone not to know it? But the dream can be really deep, that we're committed to dreaming. You know, the ego loves to negotiate. Loves that. Okay, so yeah, if we get together, it wants to plan out the whole scenario. Here's what I like. That's why sometimes we need to go in those environments where we don't get a thing that we like. Ooh. It's only to see, it's not to take anything away. It's for us to see where we're being pulled around by on a nose ring by the idea we've created of ourselves. Like we've abdicated all our power to something that doesn't exist. So we can have the experience of being pulled around by the nose ring. That's a really, but you can ask Jesus if that's true. And this weekend, everybody's gonna be talking, yeah, I'm just being pulled around by that nose ring today. But at least we can admit it. I want the experience, Jesus. I really want to be weak, like so badly. But it breaks the pattern of something happening to a me when we say we want it. Even if we say, I don't even want to see I want it. Because that's true too. Jesus says, sometimes do I just not even want to see that I want these experiences? Yes, there's all kinds of times we just rather not see. But finally, it's like there's no place else to go but to see that we want it. That's why this group is just so, oh, it's so wonderful. I mean, I can hardly look at the WhatsApp group in Spanish because it just like, it's so humbling. Like, look in there, there's so much love in there, and I don't understand a word in there. That's not true. I get a couple of words, and Dyra helps me understand. And there's Google Translate, and I do go do Google. But I just even thinking about it, one thought of that is like, so much love like pouring out, and we're getting pinged all day by that group. What could be better than that? By the ACIM Jesus, a New Covenant, you're just constantly pinged and reminded, join again, and join again. It's like that you have this whole, it's whole cuddle group coming under us, saying no place like home. So we can just really learn to rest in each other's arms, really. Haven't you, could you feel that all your life? Just really wanting to rest in someone's arms. The call for that, to rest and to have found like these beloved brothers who you can just rest in their arms sometimes, as a symbol in resting in the arms of God. To laugh with them and see the truth, and to see that othernesses just evaporate. To live in God's holy promise to us, Jesus's. And I was even thinking about the new covenant, like how that is just pure love. Like, it's just pure love expressing somehow. Yet we all have that same voice. So again, it couldn't have happened without all the brothers. It's like Helen, how could that book have come forth without Bill? And then Judy, you see, and then Ken, in love's expression together. And the same thing at Namaste, if I hadn't just shown it to someone, a mighty, like, you don't do it alone, or even this gathering, like all of a sudden there's Dyra and Melissa and, and then there's Renee and Kelly, like in this carrying, we're just carried together. And all the beings who came and like miraculously around this place in devotion to God, to really hear the voice for God. Does this place serve God? And that's what he's giving us, like the gift of each other, to hear his voice together, to hear those prompts. And then extend somehow these, just be the truth of his teaching. That's what he's saying to us. Be only the truth of what I'm telling you. You don't have to do anything else other than to be the truth of what you are. I may give you assignments, it may seem like that, but that's only to see in those assignments where you think you have something to do and there's nothing to do. It's only to show you where you would rather be finite than infinite. Where you don't want to see that you're the miscreation. the miscreation of a world that can't do anything to you, the infinite light of being. Fear not to look at everything with me. Yeah, he was reminding me today too. Like you can just see the collaboration on some of these meditation clips, and Dyra will clip it and then send it to me. Sometimes she does the pictures. Sometimes we do the pictures and music, but I see it's for me to look and be reminded of what he said. The willingness to look at everything with him and leave nothing. Have no places in the mind. Consciousness depends on those little pockets, the little rooms like a house inside where things are separate. Jesus says, just open all the windows and the door and let the breeze of God blow through. Like Muji says, 2 eyeballs floating in space. Let the breeze blow through. The play of consciousness blow through. And stay infinite. And listen to him. He may tell you to sit quietly and be with me. Boy, ego just, oh no, I must have at least 100 things to do. I'm asking him. That was a really helpful lesson joining with Lori. Because we're so, and I could see that play here, you know, if I could do something to feel better. Do you see that play? I've got to do something, or I got to list. We already know who's talking. And we could see when we joined, he was telling her to be quiet and still at this moment, to be with him, go cuddle up with him for a while. And then don't only do that, go cuddle up. Then we play like their obligations, their family things, the things I have to do. It was like spectacular having a joining with Marguerite and on Christmas Day. You know, Jesus shows there he has no rules for these things. But her instructions were her family was downstairs and she was going to be upstairs talking to me. And she said it all got arranged because she's in function. And it was like last year, I think I shared that story where it was Christmas Eve and they said, you know, there's just no way that you're going to have a meeting on Christmas Eve in Mexico. No way. And I guess Jesus, time and space, had different ideas because we had found this property not too long before then. And we need to have a talk about the back part of the property being on the lake, and it's government property. And this is such a great Christmas story too, to be reminded of. Thank you, Jesus. So we need to have a meeting about how to find out about the government. There's like a little grant that you have to get, and you have to permits and all this stuff. And so here I go into this room, and there's an engineer who specializes working with the Mexican government. They're my realtor and the people who lived here, realtor there. So first of all, there was the meeting. Then Jesus said, tells me, okay, ask if you could say a prayer. It was like, okay. So first of all, you can't have a meeting on Christmas Eve, and that's blown. 2, say prayer before a meeting. Of course, they're all diving in. It's Mexico after all, you know. Yes, of course we can say a prayer. And then it was straight Spanish, and I'm just sitting there like happy, don't know anything. That was such a change from the old K character, the contract negotiating K. I'm just, and just, and they're translating. And I love the translations in Spanish because they'll talk for 15 minutes and then I would get one line. So, it's so much trust. Really trusting, they're so adorable. And so, they're telling me about the property and I'm not hearing much, plus it's really, in addition, not even being familiar with the rules and regulations, but I'm like happy. I was like, so, and I'm just trusting Jesus is going to, and I could see that happen. The number of times that's happened on a contract where either someone near me, because they're all in Spanish, of course, and they'll have an English translation sometimes next to it. But the number of times where I didn't read a contract, which that I would have been sure I would be going to hell in the past if I hadn't read every line, but I didn't. That someone would just go, "Oh, you need to see this." Like Jesus, my eyes would go right to it. And like we're having this beautiful, and then at the end of the meeting, everybody's hugging. The engineer asked to hug me twice. I mean, it was, come on. Is that like, who's behind that? Did I need that symbol? Yes. I needed that symbol. So Jesus sent that along. It was adorable. Christmas Eve, it doesn't happen. Christmas Day, it doesn't happen. Not in Jesus's world. Not in the Holy Spirit. No. We're in the time and space rearrangement zone. Like the Twilight Zone. Okay. We're in the time and space rearrangement zone when we're following Jesus. This is not in the category of consciousness. Ask Jesus. Those come out of the time-space continuum. Ask them. They are beyond time. Completely outside of time and space and every rule of the world. Ask Jesus. Are we bound by a single rule in this world? Is divine light? Feel the happiness. Not one. And then every encounter, he's telling me, every encounter, even talking today about, what we have to do to turn this into a not-for-profit. Oh, so much love. And seeing how it was orchestrated. I mean, really, I was just like looking online, knowing, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about this Jesus. And it was like one of the first things that popped up. See, because the K was so used to, I have to investigate like 30 different groups, interview them. And I did, and then talking to him today, and I had made a list of what we needed to go, and he's going, oh, we can do that. Yeah, we're going to do that too. Yeah, we do that too. And that, and this. Jesus has given me the talk. See, if you would just come to me first and ask me all those questions, I would have told you. We have to remember to ask him everything. But he knows that sometimes we need to hear it through form. So we are outside of time and space. Ask him. He's taken us outside of time and space. You're beyond time and space, infinite light. And we've been called together to be the reflection in the mind that everything he says, and to extend everything he says in the Course, is true by direct experience. Not something that we read, not something that, oh, that's pretty good, and maybe in my next life. We have been called together to be the demonstration that everything he says is true by our direct experience. Ask him, Jesus, is that my function in this world? That's celestial function. He's saying that is celestial function for us. To be the demonstration and the expression that everything he says is true. That supreme happiness is us. We thank him for bringing us together. The Christ, the one. To play and to laugh at what can never happen to the Son of God. And to stay joined as many times as it take. Ask Jesus, or can I join too many times? And you'll want to join more. You'll feel it, like, because the joy of it, the joy of being in the celebration with the brother. It's not like any other, and the beings that have had the experience will tell you, it's not like any other meeting you've ever had. You start having celestial meetings. Like with my friend Chuck. Now, this is hilarious. So Chuck and I worked in the biotechnology industry, like high technology, for a biotechnology company together. Okay, that's about as technical. He's like business development. I was in marketing at the time. So, but we always, I can feel that there's always like the spiritual based connection. But now it's like somehow we got brought together because he's going to be on the board. I mean, I can't even imagine it. I don't know, Jesus, how did that, really? But you can start to see that even like we're talking about the first board or whatever, it's a celestial meeting. It's not an earthly meeting anymore. I can't even, it's love, talking about love and supporting the whole. And imagine going to a board meeting where the head of the board, the CEO is Jesus. What is Jesus saying for us to do? That's a celestial meeting. That's what we're here for, celestial meetings with each other. And I thank Jesus for reminding me about celestial meetings, that we're celestially meeting with each other, meeting each other, heaven mates, We're so sure our brother's the hellmate. Hashtag hellmate. Oh, but we see really quickly in this group how everyone's so welcome to it and so carried and so encouraged to keep joining. Yeah, that's beautiful. Celestial function. Wow, having Jesus teach us what that is together. I'm in. We're in, Jesus. We're in. We love you. Thank you for carrying us up. All love from San Juan Coastla. Big hugs. Cuddle up and think of us. Think of God. Amen.